Hey everyone, it is the Blind Striker here, and I am back with another YouTube video. In today's video, I am going to talk about the Apple Watch because my friend recently got a new Apple Watch and is letting me try out his old Apple Watch. So I thought, you know what, let's do a YouTube video showcasing how the Apple Watch works with accessibility, some cool things you can do with the Apple Watch, my pros and cons with the Apple Watch, and yeah, all that fun jazz. So I just want to give a huge thank you to my friend for letting me try this out. And yeah, let's jump right into the video.
So before I jump into the cool things you can do with the Apple Watch, I thought I would go over the Apple Watch app itself because it's actually a very important app. This is actually what you use to connect your Apple Watch to your phone. You can't do it through Bluetooth. You have to open the Apple Watch, and essentially there would be a button that says like scan Apple Watch or type in code, and then from there you can choose the settings that you want to transfer over and do the whole processing. Keep in mind that all of the accessibility settings may not transfer over, so you may still have to learn and try to figure out how to adjust the accessibility settings to your liking. I did that with me with VoiceOver. VoiceOver did not transfer over, and it had it on the default voiceover voice. So now that we kind of went over through the pairing and how to connect the watch, let's go through the tabs of the watch app. So this first tab that I'm actually in right now is the watch view app. So you can check all of your watches that you have connected. You can go through the settings that is on the Apple Watch here through this app and adjust, specific settings, and it would automatically change on the watch. So you can also adjust the watch faces as well. Um, as you guys can see, I have the Mickey watch face. I really like this face because it will announce the time in his voice. I can also turn on the accessibility settings like voiceover and uh, the haptic time, where it will vibrate a certain amount of times for the hour and then a certain amount of times for the minute. So that's really cool. Unfortunately, this watch that I am wearing doesn't really do that. It just vibrates twice every half hour, which I like that as well. So now that we kind of went over through the settings tab here, let's go to the next tab.
Tab bar, face gallery, tab, 2 of 4.
So this is
Selected, face
where
gallery,
you
tab,
can
2 of 4.
add faces. Um, so essentially, I can add more faces onto the watch. All of these faces, I believe, are free. You don't have to pay anything for them. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure all of these are free. And you can adjust the faces on the watch itself. It's just a little more difficult because it's a smaller screen. So I really like this because there's a huge variety, whether that's here or the watch, but it's a big screen. It's easy to add faces, edit settings, etc., etc. So now let's move over to the next tab here, which is the final tab.
Discover, tab, 3 of 4. Selected, discover, tab, 3 of
So
4.
this is the Discover tab, and essentially how this would work is it just kind of tells you about your manual, what you can do with your watch, and it will have a link in here where I can adjust like apps and stuff. So, for example, I have a step tracker app on the watch where it can count my steps. Because unfortunately, when I ask Siri on the watch to tell me my steps, it will not do it. It just opens the fitness app. And that's another thing to keep in mind when you set up the Apple Watch. It's going to make you install the fitness app on your phone. Um, that's just so that you can check your tracking and stuff, like how many steps you've taken, how many flights of stairs you've gone. Um, you can also share fitness activity with friends and family. So it's huge things, with that. I do really like how I can just view everything on my phone with a bigger screen. And I think that's kind of the ideal with the Apple Watch is that a lot of things are like overlapping. Like anything that you can do on the Apple Watch, any apps that you have on the Apple Watch is automatically going to be on your phone and vice versa. Well, not really vice versa. Um, some of the apps that support it, like you can get Snapchat, for example, on the Apple Watch. It doesn't really work that well, but you can do it. I think there's a couple other apps. I think there's Zoom. Zoom was able to, you're able to get that on the Apple Watch, and join Zoom meetings through your Apple Watch, which I'm still experimenting on how to do that. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, so now that I kind of went through this app, let's kind of go through some of the things with the Apple Watch itself. Here is what the Apple Watch looks like. Let's kind of go over some ways to use it. So if I swipe up,
Customize watch face.
I can adjust the different settings.
Show widgets. Notification center. Control center.
So a lot of these things are similar to the iPhone when it comes to notification center, widgets, and the control center. There is a couple of features that I just want to kind of address here, and that's the fact that there are a couple of modes with the control center that are not on iPhone. So I can ping my iPhone with my watch. That is one of the things. Another thing is a walkie-talkie mode, so I can invite a friend to, join the walkie-talkie mode. Like in a list, I can tap and hold, say something into the watch, and it will send it over to him at any random time, as long as both watches, of course, are connected to your phone and connected to Wi-Fi or cellular. Another mode is theater mode. So if I'm at a movie theater watching a movie, I can turn on that mode, and it will adjust the brightness to the lowest brightness setting, and it will also put my watch on vibration mode, I believe. I think another mode is water lock mode. So essentially, it will prevent water from getting into the watch and help get water out of the watch. So that is pretty cool. And I think that's all of the basic settings that are on this specific, not this specific, but that are on the Apple Watch that are not on iPhone. All of the other settings are pretty much the same thing. So now that I kind of covered that, let's kind of go through the watch faces
Do not
itself
disturb.
here.
Thursday, August 28th.
So,
Customize watch face.
so if I hit customize watch face here,
Portraits. Customizable.
so
Two
here,
notifications. Today's date. Battery.
so as you guys
See your
can
favorite portrait
tell,
photos
it
in
was
watch face.
announcing
You can
the
customize and add this face on your iPhone.
different
Double tap to choose face. Swipe up or down to
shortcuts
select
that I
custom
have
action.
on the
Then
face,
double
which is
tap to
pretty
activate.
cool in the faces.
Siri.
So I
Customize.
have a
Two
Siri
notifications.
one.
Add new face. See
Let's go.
Mickey Mouse.
Let's go into Mickey
Customizable.
Mouse because this
Three
one's really cool.
notifications. Today's date. It's 9:54.
So I may not be able to see what he is doing, but I really love how he announces the time, so that's why I keep it on Mickey Mouse. But yeah, you can adjust the color, the background color, the style of the face, and all sorts of different settings in the faces as well, and the little shortcuts you want on the face. So yeah, that is basically how everything on the watch works itself. So now let's go through the apps on the Apple Watch here.
Instead of me explaining all of the apps that are on the Apple Watch, I thought I'd show you guys how to use the Apple Watch with VoiceOver. So if I tap the crown to wake the watch up,
Apps activity button.
so it's already on the apps. If I swipe right,
Alarms button.
I'll go down the list.
App store button.
And then if I swipe left,
Alarms button.
it will go back up the list.
Activity button.
So it's a lot similar to the iPhone and iPad in that sense. If I swipe up, I have actions to delete or activate the apps. I'm not really sure how to rearrange them. Um, but I thought I'd show you guys another gesture that I thought is really cool. So if I kind of flick my wrist, it will get the voiceover to stop, the watch to go to sleep. And then if I go like this, raise it up to my wrist and say, "What is the weather?" Let's try it again. "What's the weather?"
It's currently clear and 75 degrees. Expect mostly cloudy skies starting in the afternoon. Temperatures are heading down from 75 degrees to 57 tonight.
So clear and 75 degrees. Yeah, it's really cool. And then I could also do this. Message blind Yoda. Oh, it's a little finicky here. Message blind Yoda.
I don't see Windioda in your contacts. To who?
Blind Yoda.
What would you like to say?
Hi, blind Yoda. How's it going?
Would you like to send it or change it?
Send it.
Done.
So I think that's the only feature that you get with the Apple Watch. I can also, I think, I don't know if this watch face has it,
Percent battery. It's too.
but I can measure my heart rate. So if I tap here, the crown
Apps.
again,
Activity.
go to
Button.
apps.
Items. Button.
So another thing, while I'm looking for heart rate,
Apple Store. Apple
is
Store.
I'm actually using the crown to navigate through the app. So not only, you have the option to swipe on the screen left or right to get to apps and then double tap, you also have the option to use the crown
Calculator. Button.
on the side of the watch to
Calendar. Camera.
get through
Compass. Contacts.
the
Find device. Find item. Find people. Button.
um, different options here.
Heart rate. Button.
So if I go into heart rate here,
Measuring.
so it's measuring my heart rate.
Current. 78 BPM.
So 78 is right now BPM. So I think that's really the only features that you get with this watch. It isn't
74.
really a lot of features with this. So my overall thoughts, I would say, get a Apple
75
Watch if you
BPM.
want one. I
Watch face.
personally would recommend it if
It's too.
you are blind, and the reason I say that is because you
Maps.
know
Find items.
you can
Button.
use the watch.
Watch face. It's 2:13.
You can use the watch when you are out and about. If you pay $10 more, depending on the service that you have, you can get another number for you to watch specifically, so you don't necessarily have to have your phone on you. But even if you don't get a watch that is cellular, you can still use the watch when connected to your phone. Now, I don't know if I can make phone calls directly through the watch. I'm assuming I probably can since um, it is connected directly to my phone and my phone has cellular. So anyone can back me up on that. But yeah, I would recommend it. Probably not this model that I have. I have the SE that I'm wearing right now, and recently, lost support for iOS updates. So I probably wouldn't recommend it. The series is pretty slow. Navigating it is okay. The heart rate feature, it jumps all over the place. And then when I ask it my steps or like really any other medical information that it can easily track, it doesn't do it. It just opens the fitness app. So yeah, that's just the downsides about this particular watch. I know newer watches do all of that directly with Siri and it will announce it. And there's also other cool features. So yeah, that is pretty much it with this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will catch you all in the next video.